Hello friends, today we'll be talking about the predictions that I made for Bitcoin, for NVIDIA and Tesla, the ones on my traditional stocks channel. You can watch my Bitcoin prediction in my other crypto channel, but today we'll be covering about these two predictions that we've been covering and updating in real time since the month began. Remember, these are predictions that I made for the entire month of July. And each and every single day has been 100% correct, and today that trend remains also correct. We are again which is today is 21 of July. Every single day, every single circle is correct. Not a single one has failed. It is 100% legit. This is perfection tier accuracy, as always. Ever since I began the channel, every single one of my predictions is extremely accurate, like so accurate. Sometimes I even cannot believe it. And even then, I also can predict other situations, not only finances. So remember guys, in my last video we covered everything since I believe 8th of July. We chose this day because it was basically after the first week of the predictions, and we covered all the way to, if I remember correctly, like somewhere around 11 or 12 of July. So we'll be covering today starting from 11 of July, just so we have a nice context of what happened before. And I want to remind you all that you need to watch my previous videos if you want to know the context, the entire context of this prediction, and some specifics that I may or might not mention on this video or the future ones about how to actually read the charts and some specifications. Okay, so having said that, let's begin today with right here on 11 of July. Now you can see this dip. We covered this in the last video. I said that this dip was very significant because this was replicated on almost every other stock. We are also covering Tesla, and you will see exactly that dip was also replicated on Tesla. It was even kind of present on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to a lesser degree, but nonetheless, you guys know my theory that Bitcoin and NVIDIA do have a hidden relationship between each other, even though it might apparently not be the case at first sight. But once you go deeper into research, you get to know that there is something there. I mean, it's not a coincidence that it behaves very similar. So that's what happens. That's what we got for July 11. Now for July 12, we got an uptrend. Also, we covered this on the last video. Very significant uptrend in the sense that it was a recovery. Maybe not a full recovery, but halfway, something like that. And we can see several consecutive green candles in the final hours. Now, July 15, which is Monday, we begin with a day shared by two circles. We have a red circle and we have a green circle. Remember, when that happens, the day is usually going to be very volatile or very indifferent, maybe something like a nothing burger, like a range, because when you mix the green and the red, you get basically yellow, right? That's exactly what the yellow circle actually means, either a volatile day or a day with no action whatsoever. What we got was that the red trend for that day engulfed the green one for this circle, which is July 15 or 16. We're talking about alternative days here. So we can see clearly that that day was indeed a downtrend. Very almost the opposite of what happened before on July 12. And then we got by July 16. This day is not covered in these circles, but we can see that the following circle, besides these two, was a red circle, which also has alternative days, 17 or 18 of July, contemplating a downtrend by either one of these 2 days. We also got that July 16 was a downtrend, even though For most of the day, the price actually remained basically frozen. Was more like a yellow trend right here. But since we started on a higher position than the one we closed in, it was indeed a downtrend. Now for July 17, we got that it was a downtrend. You can see clearly the price collapses and closes right here, right on this position. An obvious, a clear downtrend. You can see the price ends on a much lower position than the one we started. Now that also happens on July 18, but to a lesser degree because there's a lot of volatility in that day, July 18. You can see that the price begins on a higher position, but then it collapses. Kinda does a rebound with these 3 consecutive green candles, but it's not enough to regain the initial position. You can see that the price eventually comes very close, but not really that close. I mean, not identical to the one we started the day in. So it was indeed a downtrend, but this day, July 18, behaved more like a yellow day, very close to the position than the one we started the day. And the other day, this final day that we'll be covering today, because today is July 21, which is Sunday. This video will be launching on Monday. This is for Friday, July 19. Was a downtrend. This day was not contemplated on this prediction. Remember that we got the next circle after this one is this green one, which is 20 or 21. These days are obviously not market days. So what happens usually with that kind of stuff is that maybe what I always do is that we don't have to discard the energy of that circle. It's not like we have to completely erase it from the prediction. We could take it into account for the energy for the preceding or succeeding days. In this case, what matters to us the most is the preceding day, which is July 19. And obviously that energy did not translate well into that day. It was indeed a downtrend, maybe not that dramatic as, for example, what we saw on July 15, but nonetheless, it was a very clear downtrend. We finished the day on a lower position than the one we started. And tomorrow, which is Monday, 22 of July, we are expecting a red circle, so another dip possibly. It could also behave more like a yellow day, because the next circle is also a yellow one. We got on the 23rd of July a yellow day, and that day is also shared by this green circle, which is 23 or 24. So whatever happens tomorrow on July 22 will pave the way for the future days, for the future trends that I just charted on my prediction right here. 23 and 24 of July, some consecutive yellow circles, yellow days, 25 and 26. And 27 will be a green day as well, but 27 is not a market day, so we'll have to see if it translates into Friday, which is 26. So that's what we got for NVIDIA. As you can see, a 100% correct prediction, very accurate as always. Now let's look at Tesla. Okay, let's begin again with July 11. As you can see, this is where the day begins. This massive dip, exactly the same, almost identical to what we saw on NVIDIA. Then we saw a rise, an uptrend for July 12. Also very clear. We finished the day on a much higher position than the one we started. Now on July 15 for Tesla, we got a yellow circle, 15 or 16. That means volatility. You can see right here that the day ends on a similar position to the one we started. Very similar actually. So indeed it was a yellow day, exactly as I predicted. Now on the 16th of July, we got almost kind of the similar story. We saw an initial dip, then a recovery, and the recovery is not really that big. So we finish and we close the day on a similar position than the one we started, also on 16th of July. So both of these 2 days, 15 and 16, were very similar, very yellowish. Now what we got for with the next days, the next circle is July 17 or 18, a red day. That's exactly what happens on July 17, very clearly and very powerful. We got a big downtrend right here. And for the next day, which is July 18, what we got was more like a volatile day. We saw some rising in the first initial hours, but then it kind of collapses by the last final hours. So also we closed the day on a very similar position to the one we started, so it's not really a red day. The red prediction already fulfilled itself on the 17th, but the 18th of July was very yellowish, and with a very strong, in the final hours especially, very strong red energy, which translates to today, which is, to July 19, Friday. You can see it's a very clear downtrend. It's even more clear and more stronger than the one we saw for NVIDIA, so very identical. Now the next days we also have to watch for, because Monday, tomorrow, is going to be a red day, followed by consecutive green days, possibly 23 and 24 and 25 or 26 for the yellow ones, and we'll be closing the month exactly like NVIDIA on a green positive note. So that's all I have for you guys for today. Tesla and NVIDIA, 100% accurate predictions, both of them. So be sure to follow, like, and share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care.